But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are neat freaks. If you don't mind me saying so, I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
With a police pattern, like a crook or someone.
Of course, Harry. I'm not a real police officer. You are. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor. Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Santa Maritza, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They know, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical, and so is the village, but the Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. But enough about one of them got...
By negotiate.
Harry, we got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Potentially, Harry, potentially. There's a militant wing in...
That sounds a bit like...
They're like you...
Again.
So these...
He probably...
Aren't you worried?
Oh, I'm not at all...
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their M.O. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
That does sound quite unlikely, yes. The big guy leading the scabs at the gate is colossal.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
He's betting on them being useless to you.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See...
Also, Harry, here's 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. Yes, Harry.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I...
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. I'm glad there's a nameless little street on the coast with some old... On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it.
You're already pretty deep into this. What's a little more? No one can see you here in Martinez.
They are just...
Is he absolutely sure?
Am I? We're gonna build a youth center there. The value of their properties, you need to get... Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Roque. Most certainly, Harry. Nothing brightens my day like brainstorming. By all means, Harry. What? See you soon.
I've lost all trust for the autosave feature. I found out a bit about the drug trade. This is him,
You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything,
Correct.
it's why
Gosh.
are you even
No.
trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Rhetoric. Where is my rhetoric? Let's go.
Because what wasn't an option? Are you satisfied, detective?
And, as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with the rhetoric. Maybe you're losing your mind. You're back before the cargo container. It's drawn, and, as it's always been, it's You're back before the cargo container. It's and, as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with the rhetoric. Maybe you're losing your mind.
Lots of rhetoric now, though. Almost learned aces high. And as it's all impossible to contain rhetoric. I want to know what's in that container now. The only device that's giving me to do that is rhetoric. See how it imagines over to you're
Right to work! Right when a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people. Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
okay. Where exactly?
What's it to you?
Keeps the suspicion. 18.
Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
You got that. I'm interested in your background.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
Bouncer. Where? I frequent a lot of bars. Maybe that's what I know.
Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell?
Yeah, I think I've been there.
Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. What's it to you? No, don't think we've met before. I came to help out the people. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? We're done here. I have a strike to break.
He's lying. He was lying. I've got some things to give to you. In your shop and made of shops.
The tear machines. Your bottles clunk into the machine.
Can I like sell things? Is that something I can do? Yeah, my bottle made of shops. Right.
Yes? What about me?
I have people around here. Let's talk for yourself.
Good. Let's change the subject.
No response. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even. A moment passes. The lieutenant glances at the sports watch on his wrist.
Excuse me? You have a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide.
What do you mean?
I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle. Officers from Jamrock's 41st Precinct tend to move a bit erratically. They say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's erratic, yet thorough. Prioritizes containers.
Yes, but containers contain things. Shiny things. They're interesting.
Excuse me.
I don't know. Containers contain, I guess. I'm making assumptions. We should move on.
Right, so what can I do? I needed to talk to the lady, didn't I? That was something I think the money wouldn't go amiss either. I get judged whenever I take money from the guy who tries to And I don't like being judged. It's not very nice. But we shall avoid the judgment.
Just an ordinary war. Nothing to see here.
Let's go to the smoking guy.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Right, where exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologise for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely.
In any case,
If
of course, I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the
What was
situation
that
demands it.
about?
If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences.
since you are
Then we're on the same page. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced they were dispatched.
every work,
A member of the board. Absolutely.
who are they exactly?
Cronell. They wear
So what?
The story is, he was taken nothing. It's a
What is the nature?
whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
No.
It is very far from. If you don't,
The débardeur.
have you ever?
The Serais,
These men,
the muzzle loaders, need to be reloaded after every one.
as I said, a bloodbath. Many bleak. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Tell me about Cornell. He said that
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from the remaining contractors. That the man
The lieutenant.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about it.
last Sunday night at the work. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. Not much. They boast a lot.
Meaning they're used.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminoles Islands.
Okay, anything else?
Countries
you
that
got there?
don't have a good record reporting a trip. Sadly, no. If you still have.
Do you know a lot?
In my line of work, I have.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
If you mean, did I see him alive? Yes. But Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner.
What would you say was his eye color? The deceased.
She closes her eyes, trying to.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first.
That's all right, then. Anything else?
He was 40.
Indeed.
In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes, ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
One is obviously the scat leader.